Uh, so good morning. Got my period today, so it kind of made me think maybe I could do a little video about kind of periods and weight loss or weight change actually, because it's not just about weight loss. So if you're a person that menstruates, hopefully this is kind of interesting to hear about. Uh, but I guess it's worth saying that if you gain or lose weight, your periods can change. And that can be in any way. It can be about the length of your menstruation, it can be the length of your entire cycle, it can impact your symptoms, so more or less. It can also, as well, sometimes change the types of symptoms you have. So when you gain or lose weight, there's big hormonal changes going on in your body, which can affect your cycle. For me, not this time with my weight gain, but previously, I had actually stopped my periods. They'd stopped for about 3 or 4 months. I then started a weight loss regime. So this was back in 2017. I was doing calorie counting. Overall, I did super well, but of course, put it all back on again. But in terms of periods that time, I actually, once I'd lost kind of 20, 30 pounds, my periods started again, but they were extremely heavy and went on for 18 days. And that happened a couple of cycles. The cycles were also much closer together. So for the first 2 or 3 months, when I started having periods again, they were really messed up. So I did kind of seek medical information. I was living in the UK at the time, so did, is it 111? So the NHS line. So they were kind of able to advise it wasn't an issue unless it kind of continued for longer, or kind of my periods were over, I think, 21 days. That was when I was supposed to seek medical treatment. But just to say, if you start losing weight, whatever the method, you can absolutely see changes in your cycle. And that kind of experience back in 2017, after the 2 periods, kind of everything kind of went back to normal and was much more kind of what my periods had been before. So then, as I said, I kind of did gain all that weight back. COVID was not great for me, kind of became much bigger. I spoke kind of in my previous video, but I was kind of 620 pounds when I started, 281 kilos. So that's 44 stone and some change. I have lost a lot of weight. I've lost 175 pounds, 12 and a half stone, or kind of 79 kilos. And I'm only in month 8. So really super happy with where I am. But what I have noticed this time, my periods have changed, but specifically also with the GLP-1s. So like I said, you can see changes in your menstruation cycle if you lose weight in any way, as well as gain weight. But with the GLP-1s, I think they've had a particular impact on me. So what I've noticed over the last few months is that my periods are kind of easier to manage. So in terms of losing weight, I think that's part of it. And particularly just like the whole kind of physicality of kind of changing products and kind of keeping clean. That's clearly much easier for me now than it used to be. So that makes it kind of much less of a hassle. Just from a practical and logistical point of view, it's much easier. But I would say, like, I do think also as well, my symptoms have lessened. So I was never a person that had kind of extreme periods. If we're thinking of a scale of 1 to 10, my periods were like maybe a 5 or 6 in terms of pain or discomfort. They never kind of like truly affected my experience. Maybe every now and again I would take a painkiller, but it was never kind of truly bad. I never thought I had endometriosis or anything like that. So for me, symptoms would be that I would get tired about the week before. I would cramp, sometimes occasionally needing painkillers, but not always, for kind of 2 or 3 days before, and then the first day of my period. And then my periods will last about 4 or 5 days and kind of be quite regular. But now what I'm finding actually is that I still have the same symptoms, but kind of less. So I still have cramps, but they tend to be only like the day before or the first day of my period, and they are also less in terms of pain or discomfort. Also kind of the tiredness I get maybe like the day before, but not kind of for the full week. And also kind of my cycle is very regular. It was never irregular, but it kind of was super irregular now. So I guess, generally having a better diet I do now has probably helped. Losing weight has probably also helped. But I do wonder as well if like some of the research and kind of findings about anti-inflammatory side effects that are positive from the GLP-1s are kind of also affecting my cycle. So we know that they can help with PCOS. I do not have that. I don't think I have that. But I wonder if those that don't have PCOS are also finding that maybe they're having improvements in their overall experience when it comes to their kind of menstruation experiences. The other thing I've also noticed as well that hopefully is not TMI, but I'm just going to put it out there. One of the big things that I would realise kind of the week before my period is that I would poo much more. So I would go from kind of once a day to kind of 2 or 3 days, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, sometimes even more. Having Googled that in the past, I understand that it's kind of a fairly typical symptom, and it's to do with the hormones that are released in order to kind of actually bleed. They also affect your bowel, so it can mean that kind of food and particularly waste goes through your body more quickly, so you can end up pooing more. So I would find kind of 5, 7 days before my period, I knew it was coming because I was super tired, but I was also pooing a lot. And now again, I still kind of, the day before, I might poo twice rather than the once that I'm used to. But even that has kind of stopped as well. So that's kind of quite interesting to me. Again, I think GLP-1s have had an impact, but also as well, losing weight, generally having a good diet has also helped before. So kind of sharing, hopefully that's interesting for others. Feel free to kind of write about your experiences in the comments as well.